Okay, let's continue with question 16. Now, question 16 has got what we do with this thing that we have learned in MSP called the sets. We're going to find out why. So let's shorten the grammar story. It says that there are thrice as many adults as children. So we have an adult and children, adults being 3 times. So we're going to just draw 3 units out of 1 unit for child. Okay, now you notice that let's take for example, one child has to pay $14, which is what is written over here, and $23 per adult. So 23, 23, and 23. Okay, now since there are thrice as many adults as children, it seems to suggest that every group is made up of 3 adults and 1 children. And there are many of this kind of groups. Okay, so let's find out exactly one set. What is the total cost? 3 adults with 1 children all together. You have a 23 plus a 23 plus a 23 and a $14, which is the child. And this gives you a total of $83. So in every set, okay, this is counted as one set. In every set, there lies 3 adults and 1 children. One adult has to pay $23, $23, $23. The child has to pay $14. Okay, so every set, it will cost a total of $83. And you know that there are altogether $498 being paid. So if we take a $498 and we divide it by $83, we will get the number of sets that has happened in this question. That means we will have the second set, which is also made up of 3 adults, because since there are 3 adults, 23, 23, 23, and a child that is $14. There's also going to be a third set, there's going to be a fourth set, there's going to be a fifth set, and there's going to be a sixth set, which I'm not going to draw. But the total will give rise to $498. Okay, so looking at this picture, you know that there are altogether 6 sets. In every set, there are 3 adults. Okay, one set is $83. A total of $498 was being paid. We know that there are altogether 6 sets. And in each set, there are 3 adults. Okay, so 3 adults, 3 adults, 3 adults, altogether 6 sets of it. We will get the total answer 18 adults as the answer. So this is a sets question. If you're unsure, always go back to your MSP. We try to group things into a set. One set, one set, one set. Okay, child and adult together. Alright, now let's go to question 17. Question 17 is about ratio. We have Alan to Brian. Alan to Brian. 2:7. Okay, this part of the story is done. Now, Brian and Chris had 2:1 instead. Brian, the same person, which is B. Now we got the new person called Chris. Brian 2, okay, Brian 2 and Chris 1. Okay, now this is something that we have seen in the ratio test before. You notice we are talking about the same person, Brian. And it is very funny how we said that Brian was 7 units. And then suddenly it changes to 2 units. What could have happened? Because this ratio are in the simplest form. So we need to make the story matched. 7 and 2 don't match at all. But we are talking about the same person. How can they not match? So we're going to find out their common denominator. Instead of 2, 7, okay, we could change this to become a 4, 14. Because I multiply this by 2. I multiply this by 2. Okay, I'm going to erase this 2, 7 away. Now this 2 could be because it was a simplified version to 14 as well. Times by 7 times by 7 to give a 7. Now, things are much clearer. Brian is 14. We have managed to make this ratio into 14 as well. So we're not going to care about those nonsense ratio that was given by the question. Instead, we're going to take the new ratio that we changed to, which is here. Okay, erase will make things clearer. So now the story matches. Both of them are 14. Because we are talking about the same person, of course, they have to be the same unit. Okay, so A, which is Alan, will just be 4 is to 14. And Chris will be 7 instead. So we ignore what is 2 is to 7, we ignore 2 is to 1 because we want to make the equivalent fraction out. So that Brian is 14 and Brian is 14, which makes sense. Okay, so the new ratio is out for 14 and 7. Alan saved 300 lesser than Chris. Alan and Chris is 7 units, Alan is 4, the extra unit is 3 units. And this 3 units is $300. 1 unit, you divide them by 3, gives you a total of $100. So find the difference between Alan and Brian. Alan and Brian. Alan is 4, Brian is 14. Their difference will be 10 units. So this 10 units is actually $100 times a 10 gives you a total of $1,000 difference. So this is for part A of the question. Find their total savings. So you have got 4 units, 14, and you have got 7 units, which gives a total of 25 units. So part B, we want to find their total. All we need to do is to take 25 units. $100 per unit times by 25 gives you the answer 2,500. Part B of the answer. So learning point over here, if you remember what we discussed in the test, just make sure the same person that we are talking about, which is Brian, has the same ratio. We multiply them to make it to the same number, 14 and 14. Okay? Let's go on to question 18, which is also our last question already. Okay, now this has got to do with MSP as well. This concept was called the unchanged total that we did, I'm not sure, in primary 4 if I remember correctly. Now, if you remember the whole story over here, if you have recalled doing the story, box A, B, and C contain 168 bits each. I may not be able to solve the entire question, but I know that one thing I can do to get an M1 is to find out the total number of bits. In this case, 504 is the total number of bits A, B, and C have. Doing this gets you M1. So when you face a question that you're not sure in the exam, please, my goodness sake, try to earn as many N1 as you can by breaking down the sentence and solving each part of it. Okay? Now, you have got A, B, and C 168 bits each. So we're going to draw box A. It started off with 168. We have a box B, which is also 168. And we have a box C, which is also 168. Now, we read the question and we go on. He transfers 1/6 of the bits from box A to box B. He's going to transfer 1/6 out. How much is this 1/6 exactly? 6 units is 168. We just want 1 unit taken out. So it will be 168 divided by 6. Okay, which will give you a nice 28. Which means he has taken out 1/6. Okay, know why I find 1 unit? Because he transferred 1 unit out only. So he transferred 28 over. Now, if he transfers 28 over, box A, instead of 168, will be 168 minus 28, because 28 has been taken out, which gives 140. Now, B will have a different number already. Instead of minusing, now box B gets a 28 bits, which now has a total of 196 bits. bits inside box B. Okay, now let's read on the story. He transferred 1/4 of the bits from B to C. So some of the bits are going to C already. And the total units was 4 according to the story. And he's going to transfer only 1/4 out, which is 196 divided by 4, just 1 unit of it, okay, which would give you 49. So 49 is going to go to box C, which is added on to box C, okay, that will give you a total of 217. Now, don't forget that because you have taken out 49 from box B, you will need to take the total that box B has, subtract away from 49, because you took 49 out and you brought it to box C. Okay, so now instead of 196, you are going to have box B with 196 minus away the 49, which was being transferred, to give 147. So these are all the new numbers you have: 217, 147, and sadly box A only 140. So the question is asking what was the total number of box A and box C in the end. Okay, box A 140, box C 217. This gives you a total of 357 as your final answer. Okay, again, let me emphasize, if you look at the whole entire question again, you will find that have I drawn a model for this? I have not. So models is not a must. Sometimes if pictures helps you better, please go ahead. Okay, now I've come to the end of this paper, which leaves us with the attendance code that you will need to fill in for me. And these are your attendance code. Please take note. If you need to pause the video to write down, please go ahead. Register 1 to 10. Register 11 to 20. Register 21 to 30. And register 31 to 37. Okay, so remember your exams are on Tuesdays, so please take good care of your health, have good sleep, do not fall sick, and wish all of you the best of luck. Please staple the colored paper to the front of the EPP paper and submit on Tuesday instead.